everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today on this episode of Cults and Overcoming. So I'm pretty excited today. My guest is someone that was at Restoration City back in the late 80s, stayed for quite, definitely saw some things, witnessed some things, and is here to tell her story. I'm excited to catch up because it's been forever since I've spoken with her. So I just want to go ahead and welcome Rebecca. Do you go by Rebecca or Becky or?
I go by Rebecca.
Okay, well, welcome. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yes, excited. I kind of grew up with your son. We have the same birthdays, 4/20, April 20th.
Yeah.
We grew up together, little rugrats running around campus grounds.
Yeah, where I got to teach him how to ride his bike.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you guys went there, huh?
Oh, just saying he was my baby, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You guys went in the late 80s, stayed for about 7 years into the mid 90s. And so, yeah, you just we can go ahead and start. And what led you to come? I mean, at the time it was Teen Challenge. And I have referred to this somewhat. I've tried to explain it. It does get a little bit confusing because it started as Teen Challenge under Assemblies of God, and then which it mostly was a rehab program. But out of that also came the church aspect of it and other ministries out of it. Right. But then it also has went through different names now and is currently under Restoration City. But when you came, it was Teen Challenge.
Yes.
So you came through the rehab part. Why did you and your young son at the time come in?
Well, he came with me, unfortunately, because I was the one who had the issues. I was bulimic for probably about 7 years, and I could not find hope anywhere or help anywhere. And the Lord he's God, and he just led me there. I did get free there, but I mean, in the process of everything else, a lot of it was, I would have rather have skipped a lot of it. But I mean, if God used it to get me free from bulimia, then I'm good. I'm good with it. So.
Yeah, for sure. Was there any other controlling issues you had, or that was the main one?
I mean, I'm sure that I had a lot of issues and probably still do, but yeah, that was my main issue.
Okay.
Yeah, it was horrible. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you get. What's just so sad is that people coming there with these life controlling issues have real issues and problems. And so you do actually get help and you end up staying because you're grateful that this place helped you get free of whatever controlling thing it was in your life. Mm-hmm. And then come to find out after years of being there and dedicating yourself in service to this place, you realize all the underlining things that are going on. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, that gets a little, when the reality sets in, it gets a little hard to take it. And you're like, what's going on?
Yeah. Many times I've said that I've traded having a life controlling problem for having my life controlled. So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And how long was the program part for you guys or for you?
It was 18 months. My son, it's devastating that he went through that with me. I mean, I'm grateful forevermore that he was with me. I would have never wanted him anywhere else but with me. But at the same time, I think that it affected him in such a way that he's never wanted to go to church after being there at a Christian rehab center. Mm-hmm. I think he equates church with it. And
of course, yeah.
You know, the thing of it is that he was 4 years old when we got there, and he made all of his very best friends from the age of 4 to the age of 11. Mm-hmm. When we left, of course, the individual that was leading everything said that they could no longer, he just cut off all their friendships. And what is that to an 11-year-old boy, you know?
Yeah.
who loses all of his friends basically in a day, and has to rebuild his life pretty much,
For sure.
in the sixth grade, and he was homeschooled because that was what they, I mean, I don't want to say forced, but I mean, that's what you did. You did what they said, So, yeah.
So did you homeschooled him, right?
Yeah, I had help. I had help from another individual too. So, which was, I'm very grateful for that.
Well, when you're going, so when you're going through the actual rehab part of it and you need to homeschool your child, is it, so there's other people that are doing it as well?
Yes. And the thing of it is that, I mean, I guess that they just expect you to, even though you come in as some, drug addict, in my case, food was my drug, and you're supposed to all of a sudden be a teacher, I mean, I did not, I no more knew how to teach my child really than, I just didn't know really what I was doing. I mean, I was not a teacher, and I'm not saying that a person who is not a teacher can't homeschool their children. They can, but I think that all of us were in such a state, and many of us were very young also, that sometimes you just really don't know your way around all of it. So that's why I was very grateful that there was another individual there who was willing to help me, and how grateful I am for that. So, and this individual was also in the program. So I don't know if it was the individual or the spouse that really needed the help, but anyway, yeah, that was good for me.
Yeah, for sure. And when you were already going through a rehab facility trying to get something under control, and then you're having to deal with schooling your child and all of this, it's all, you should be focused on one thing, that's dealing with your issues when it comes to that. And that's most rehab facilities. If you look into any other ones, that's, they don't have their kids there and having to homeschool them. We should have been allowed to go to the next town over to an actual public school, but that was not allowed till years later,
right?
Where they finally did. Huh?
I was saying, what changed suddenly and made it okay,
We've talked about that a little bit. I think it was a little bit around the time that the freedom of the spirit came into play, where they could start drinking and stuff, and the pastor's kids want to go to a school, or the co-pastor's kids want to go to a school, so it's okay now. Like,
oh my God, don't even get me started on the favoritism out there, the untouchable. Yeah, the leadership, they were all the untouchables. They were all the perfect people,
For sure.
So yeah, we were the little peons. And the other thing that bothered me is how they lived so lavishly on, while we were praying for like a quarter for a cup of coffee, but to Europe over and over again, and and I don't blame any of the kids at all. I mean, they're all, just a part of it. I mean, they're the kids. They're the kids. So, I mean, they have no choice but to follow along with everything that's, being taught to them, and everything that they're a part of,
For sure.
So, yeah. So,
yeah.
But.
So you're going through the rehab part in it and everything, and you guys get out. When did you start noticing some red flags? Or do you think it was kind of all along, or was there one thing that kind of happened at first and you're like, man, something's off here?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think even in the very beginning, so, coming from a background of rejection, I did not feel like I fit in really anywhere. It's sad, but I mean, that was just part of my psyche, and, has been something that I've dealt with for many years. And so I went up to one of the leadership and I shared that, and they were like, well, you're accepted in the beloved. And basically that was that, oh, okay. So, but there was never any acceptance, if you understand that. There wasn't any they did not reach out to me in any way, shape, or form. As a matter of fact, if anything, it was more like, this is my little circle here, and you'll never be a part of it, is basically how it felt. And, the people, it was my issue, my problem. But I mean, it was still something that I think as a leader, I think it's something that you can cue in on it or key in on it or whatever you want to say, and just say, this individual might need a friend, let me show myself friendly, So that wasn't anything that was ever really done. There was just a lot of things that I thought were really off. If you wanted to leave, if you didn't have their blessing, basically you're going to hell, if anybody was to leave the program, you were told, don't ever ask them how they're doing, because you know how they're doing, and all of us were just going, not really, but I mean, we just have to go along with whatever it is that you say. And then, every time that I would go on a leave, my friends, whoever I went to go visit, they'd be like, yeah, a few days in and you were actually normal, like you were actually yourself again. But the closer that you got to having to go back, they were like, you became like a robot again. And I was like, really?
Wow.
I know, it was just so weird that people actually saw that in me, something that I never saw myself, And so it was just so much control. I feel like everything that we did there had to be, there just wasn't a lot of freedom, I'll say,
For sure.
Yeah. So there was something else that was a red flag also, but I can't remember exactly what it is at the moment.
Yeah, there was definitely mind control stuff. You get so indoctrinated into this aspect of what this place is that for a while you just believe everything they say until you start asking questions, and then you're not allowed to ask questions. If you ask questions, well, you're just out of it. We're going to bring you into counseling into 115. Did you ever, so the discipline was quite rough for some of the kids there and everything, especially some of the single moms with their kids. Did your son experience any of that with the way that the eldership would discipline and stuff?
Well, they did tell me that I needed to spank him until he broke, so I mean, it was just I think that one of the individuals was as I recall, demonstrating what I was supposed to be doing, but with my son, I mean,
with your son there, like on him?
Yes, on him. Yeah. So yeah, and you just feel like you have to do everything that they tell you to do. That's just how you feel. You come in there and you're at their mercy, I guess. I don't know. Just everything they tell you to do, you do it, and so blindly. And I have always kind of had the sense that they, and this may not be true, but it's just how I've thought, that they kind of prey on, or did back then, on people who are unchurched, have all kinds of issues and problems. And that way the people don't have any prior knowledge of any church truth, so you're just like, oh, whatever you say has to be it. That has to be true, So yeah, you have nothing else to measure it against, in a manner of speaking, so.
For sure. When people are at their weakest, when they're like dying to like try anything to help with whatever addiction they're at. I mean, my dad, we were at a church base before we came there. I have vague memories of going to the church and my dad being somewhat involved in it. He had tried other rehabs and nothing was really helping until he went to the center. So for him, it did help for a while. But that's the thing. I don't know if some people, and you can maybe answer this, that like you do actually get help. So is it like you feel like you want to stay because you want to help other people? Or is it like you feel like you get to a point where you can't really leave because you're too scared to, maybe?
My thing was that I was too scared to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a scaredy cat, I guess. So, and that's on me, but finally, the Lord did give me the bravery to, I mean, it was literally almost as though his audible voice was telling me where to go, where to turn, literally where to turn, and
Wow.
which direction to, which hall to take,
Mm.
and it was awesome. I loved it because I was like, I'm getting, out of here. And so I was living with a family at the time, and I did get a call to come into counseling, and that's when I told them, I'm not going into counseling. I'm not coming back, not ever. Yeah, and then that individual ended up calling the people that I was staying with, and thanks be to God forevermore, because my son and I wouldn't have had a place to live. I mean, I honestly don't know where we would have gone at that time. Had they, listened to what the leadership was saying, because they were saying, she's leaving, you need to, how they are with, if you leave, you need to shun them, get them out of your life. Well,
Yeah.
they were like, we're no longer apart. We're leaving also. I was like, oh my God, thank you, Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
And were y'all staying in the next town over at that point?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go back for just a second. Was there a final red flag that happened, or was it a few things kind of just all gathered up that?
It was, what did happen that made me actually be brave?
I know you said something about, well, there was a couple of things that there was like the breakaway from Teen Challenge, when like there was the meeting with the assemblies, getting away from the Assemblies of God. But I think that was a little bit earlier on.
It was way earlier. Although that was something that I questioned, but I was like, I only questioned it in my mind. And I thought, surely I'm wrong, because when he said that God was over him and that he's over all of us, I was like, even I was like, well, God could be over me also then, or God could be over any of us. Yeah.
Wait,
yeah, but
so then,
obviously at that point you just, you're like, oh, well, he knows everything, not me, so.
So then it's like, well, I can be the leader then, right? God's, I'm him hearing the call of the Holy Spirit, like,
Yeah.
oh, that's so weird. Yeah, it's weird that everybody kind of says the same thing around that time with the adults that were kind of there around that time, with the breaking away from the Assemblies of God, and everybody has like little bits of pieces to add. But that's, do you remember if you guys like all met in the Blue Chapel or anything, or somewhere on campus? And like,
I think we all met in the little Blue Chapel, I believe.
Okay, so the little Blue Chapel is the chapel on campus where we for a long time held church services and stuff. And then they would also hold these meetings. There were a couple of meetings, I don't know if they're probably not this time, but there are a couple of meetings I went to when I was a little bit older, that they would like lock the door and stuff. I'm like, this is getting real weird. Why is there a need to lock the door? And then, so you guys are hearing about all this. So was most of everyone just kind of like, all right, cool, praise God? Was anybody asking questions like during this meeting?
I don't think so, because there again, we're all the needy ex-druggies, ex-alkies, foodies. I mean, people, whatever our issues were. So we, weren't really in a position to, and we were all really young pretty much. So we weren't really in a position to, this doesn't sound right to us. Yeah, no, we didn't question it. Not that I know of.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
let's cut to a little bit later. And then Some people have kind of talked about this a little bit, but when DK splits from his first wife, and then him and someone that came through the program with her husband, they end up getting together. It was really strange, the things that were going on, but she and her husband get separated. I don't remember. Do you remember if they got separated or divorced while they were there?
All I know is that I remember something tragic happening, and I was actually over at an individual's house when this woman that he wanted to get with was being asked to come over to see him. So, which I thought at that time was odd, but that's all I thought. I mean,
Was she still currently with her husband at the time?
That's a good question.
I don't think she was, from my recollection, but I also was a lot younger.
I don't think she was either, but if anything, I believe that if you're in the ministry, that you should be encouraging everything that you can to restore a marriage. And that's what should have been done, I believe, but not when you have your eye on somebody, you know. And that's what I was referring to about the whole Bathsheba thing, you know. It was just, you know,
just very strange how it all happened. What's kind of funny is we were told something else, which what we were told was there was some truth to it for sure, but there was also other stuff going on that we didn't know about. I probably can't get into the full details. I don't want to be telling other people's stories and stuff, but I think there was a lot more going on than what everyone else knew about.
Wow.
So
yeah.
So there were quite a few things that went on with y'all. I think, so with the whole not being able to communicate or talk with anyone that has left, that is definitely a big thing, and why people get scared, especially when you were there for 7 years. You were living on campus, right?
I was living on campus, and then I actually moved out into town. I did move out into town, so yeah.
Okay.
I was happy.
So
do that.
Yeah, so. And a lot of the time, like, people have been living on campus or something, and it's like all you know, or it's like you've been there for so long. It's like, if I do leave, where am I going to go? You're kind of stuck. You're like, even if I do want to leave, where the heck am I going to go? And I'm going to lose every friend that I have. It's definitely a scary spot to be in.
Well, that's the spot that my son was put in at the age of 11.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the spot that they put him in.
Mm-hmm.
And quite frankly, he's not come to the Lord since. And I'm thinking that there are probably quite a few of your age group, which he's now in your, age demographic. And it's, I'm very happy that you're serving the Lord, but it still is very devastating to me that, that should not have been. So
was he questioned at all whenever you guys were leaving?
No, thankfully, no.
Okay. I didn't
what
know
I'm
if they tried to.
Is when they cut off all of his friendships, which I mentioned earlier today, earlier in this interview, but it bothers me, and it is what happened to him. So So, and I don't know. It's a bothersome thing. I think it bothers me more than anything that happened with me. So,
Yeah. So you guys are on the way out and everything. Was there, well, you were living off campus, I guess, but did anybody try to contact y'all kind of as you're leaving or after, and trying to get y'all to come in? And
yeah, they did. They wanted me to come into counseling, and I wasn't going to go into counseling. I literally said no. I'm no longer a part of, I think at that time it was, Straightway. I think it was Straightway.
They changed from Teen Challenge to Family Life Training Center to Straightway.
Yep. It's had a few, yeah.
I think they change names every time there's bad, how do you say that word? Publicity?
Bad publicity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
When there's bad news going around. I think that's when they start changing names. Like, you guys are going to run out of, are we going on the waterway now? What's going on? You know, in the song of the Lord, they like to sing about the water and the river of Jesus and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the song of the Lord. Yeah, I mean, they would put you, I feel like they would kind of put you on the spot. You have to have the song of the Lord, you know, pass around the microphone. You almost to the
Did
point.
you ever sing the song of the Lord?
Yeah, I think one time they passed me the microphone. You almost feel obligated, like you're not, how do I say, you're not spiritual, and you really don't have a relationship with God unless you are able to come up with this song of the Lord, you know, like it was something that was actually required of you, you know. I know God in such a different way than I ever knew him before, and he's the most loving. He's my daddy, you know, my daddy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. He's
and
nothing,
that's what
he's nothing like what was portrayed to me through the whole experience that I had when I was, you know, getting over bulimia there at the center. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why, like, I look at God now in such a different way, as more of a loving God that has grace, and not something that's, you're going to hell, you flirted with a boy, we need to bring you into counseling, you're not going to be nothing without us, just everything that they would tell us, you know, and make you feel constantly guilty about every little thing.
Oh my goodness. I went out one evening, I went out and bought an outfit because we were having something going on. I don't know what it was. And so then a couple of the female leadership went to one of the male leadership and told them that I had a problem in this area and that I needed to go change my clothes. So yeah. So
was your outfit
it was cute.
Was there some exposure?
There was neither southern nor northern exposure that I know of.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
I know. It's just, you know.
Was this for, what did this happen to be for one of the Christmas banquets or anything, or?
I don't know. It wasn't for it was for something. Oh gosh. It's been like, what, 30 years or something. So it's hard for me to recall, but
yeah,
it was just something. And I was just like, I'm going to go get a new cute outfit, like a real cute one. And I bought leggings, so my legs weren't even showing. They were leggings, and it was an outfit that went over the leggings. And yeah, and I have a problem in this area. And I'm like, because no one's ever told me that I have a problem in this area before. Wasn't that funny? I mean, if literally I had a problem in this area, you would think that somebody would have already addressed it a few times, you know? So
for sure. And like, they want to say all that stuff when they're having affairs and doing all kinds of stuff with people's husbands or wives or whatnot. Like,
right. Yeah.
They want to pick at every little thing, you know. It's just,
yeah.
I think I got in trouble one time for, like, it was a Sunday service. I had, because the majority of the time in Sunday services, you were dressed up, you wore dresses or skirts. And I had to have like a dress or skirt on or something, but I didn't at that time. You sometimes wore like slips under, you know, and I don't think I had a slip on. I had no idea that I guess you could kind of see through my dress or something. Oh my God. This lady went and told on me. Like, I got in so much trouble. Like, I didn't know that you could see that. It wasn't like I was trying to be like, ooh, boys, look at me.
I know.
Just little stupid stuff like that. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. I mean, I got, just nitpicky stuff. You know, I know that God doesn't condemn me for anything, because no one there ever made it so clear to me. But after I got out of there, the Lord himself made it crystal clear to me about Romans 8:1, that there is therefore now no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that Jesus wouldn't condemn me for this, but they were so legalistic.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time we were having, I guess, the women's Bible meeting, and this evil woman right here, which I was a evil, very young woman back then, I was chewing gum, and I took my gum out, and I had my Bible with me, and I set my gum on my Bible, and I was such a sinner, such a
Lord,
evil sinner, that I actually had the audacity to set my gum on the Holy Bible, which, I mean, granted, I shouldn't have done it, but I mean, I didn't think that it was something that, like, they needed to call me out in front of everybody for doing it. I think that it's something that could easily have been handled in such a way that after the whole meeting was over, they could have taken me to the side and said, hey, you know, in a loving way, hey, sweetie, you know, next time spit your gum out, you know, before you come to the meeting, or, you know, I don't, you know, think it's the greatest thing to put your gum on the Bible or whatever, you know, just in a loving way. Yeah. You know, why bring so much condemnation on the head of, you know, people? It's not God's heart. It's not his heart at all. Mm-hmm. His heart would never condemn me for that. He'd be like, hey, I'm glad you got your Bible with you. You know, that's how God would be, you know.
At least you got your Bible, you know.
Yeah, he would only point out the good ever, you know. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. But yeah, it's sad. It's very sad. I hope that I hope that it's changed a lot, you know, from how it was back when I left, you know, mid-90s. So it's had a lot of good time to change, lots of years. So, you know,
from what I've heard, some of the people there are still kind of the same, as in the way they are, mm-hmm. and the way they handle stuff. Granted, I haven't been there in quite some time, so I can't speak to the 100%ness of this, but the people that I've recently left in the past 2 to 3 years kind of say it's, you know, pretty much the same. I mean, maybe they've changed somewhat, or maybe changed certain things or whatever, to try to come across as better, but it's still the underlining thing of, like, he's in control or she's in control, the daughter of the pastor. Whatever they say goes. You can't go against their will. And that's one of the big things, is that, like, he never had breaking away from the Assemblies of God was a big, like, you shouldn't have done that. You have nobody to answer it to. It's like you're not kept in that realm of, like, we're all human and we all make mistakes. Like, you should be held, like, you should be held accountable. And I don't know. I'm all, like I said, I'm all for the grace of God, and all for, you know, if they were to apologize or something along the lines and say something, you know, say, like, I'm so sorry for the way things were handled of God. And yes, there needs to be forgiveness and everything. And we all need to heal and to move on. But at the same time, when you're going to sit there and continue to say, oh God, just have them, you know, have them forgive us while we don't do anything about it. Like, I mean, you can only go so far, especially when there has been sexual assault, physical assault, mental abuse, so many things that I could go on and on about. You know, some stories are not as crazy, some are horrendous. You're just like, what the heck? I was there at that time and I had no idea that was going on, you know?
Yeah. I fortunately, I know very little about the deep things that have gone on there. You know, I've heard bits and pieces about it, but like I say, I'm very, very fortunate that didn't touch our lives. So yeah.
Yeah. And what I tell other people too, because I've had people message me, or, you know, I was like, ask certain people to be on as guests and stuff. I'm like, I don't really think I have a story to tell or whatever. I'm like, everyone has a story to tell. If you have been out there, you do. If you just, nothing real tragic happened, you were still in the indoctrination of that place, and your mindset was so different from when you were there to when you left. And it could be like your story. You still, to you, what you went through was still a big thing, and you still suffered, after you left. It was just, it's that mind control stuff that really gets you. And
well, never feeling like you're accepted in the beloved.
For sure.
I mean, it was without question the inner circle and everyone else, so yeah. And it does affect you. And still to this day, I'm seeking counseling, so just to get over different things. Because I mean, I went directly from out of the center to meeting my husband, having our kids. I was not in any way, shape, or form ready for any of that, but I never knew that. I never knew that. And so I was a mess. And I still am. But the Lord is doing his work in me. Something that could have been done had the people had a true heart for people, and not just for being, let me lord it over you, So I think that it takes certain people to give power to. When certain people have power, they don't know how to wield it, and they, but other people, you give them power and it's just all love, it's all grace, all love, all mercy. And so it could have been that way, but it wasn't. So
for sure. Well, at least you're, seeking, are you going to therapy, or what is it?
Yes, I'm in therapy. Okay. Yeah, I just started on the 18th. So
okay.
Yeah.
I will be soon after you, hopefully, as soon as I can get some extra funds in.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted to do this, because I felt like, well, maybe there's something there. Maybe I need to talk about it, which I never really have, and maybe it'll help, So
I think that it definitely helps. Whether you think it or not, or you're in your head or whatever, it definitely helps. I know for me and my family and my sister, talking through everything that we have talked through, and me and my sister talking about a lot more stuff now, I know that it has helped us. It's helped with mine and my sister with my mom's relationship and stuff. My mom has found out stuff that she never knew. She's apologized to me and my sister. There's just certain things and healings that have come out of this. So that's why I say it could be from the smallest story to the biggest story. It doesn't have to be the most tragic thing happening. Just come on, tell what you've been through, because it will help you whether you think it or not. Getting things off your chest and just realizing there is more to life than this place and everything. And I don't know what I'm trying to say here.
I think that you're trying to say that, we can move forward, get the help that we, put this place in the rearview mirror and but while at the same time bringing awareness that, these are some things that you need to look for before you seek help. If you see these things happening, it's probably a good idea for you to run for the hills,
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. Because I mean, you don't need to add, how does that saying go? Adding,
fire to the fuel, or I don't
fuel to the fire, or
fuel to the fire.
Insult to,
I said it backwards.
Okay, insult to injury. Insult.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. But yeah, fuel to the fire is also, fuel to the fire could also definitely be true, So I don't know if that's what you were trying to say, but
But it is. And, you know, like I've said before, I don't know if you've listened to some of the other interviews I've done. I mean, but like one of the main things is just to get the awareness out there of what has gone on at this place. And, you know, we're not trying to like sit here and be all bitter and like, oh, blah, 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 and talk about certain individuals in a bad way. That's not what we're trying to do.
Right.
If topics come up and things get exposed, well, you shouldn't have been doing that crap back then. Like, yeah, like, I mean, so
Yeah.
and just like it is a healing process of this stuff coming out. And I mean, it's been for different individuals, it may be different periods of time where you're able to process this and actually talk about it. I mean, I left like 15 years ago and I started doing this podcast like 6 months ago. I mean, we would talk about it, like our generation of people like would like talk about it throughout the years and stuff, but it was never anything that was like in deep root conversation of like, man, this sexual abuse went on, this happened to this person where they were like assaulted, they were physically abused like every day. It wasn't until I started doing this podcast that we started finding out all this other stuff.
Right.
But
wow.
yeah,
I'm so sorry that it happened to all you young people. It's devastating. It's very, yeah, I don't like to even think about it. So yeah, it's your generation is the one that breaks my heart the most, is that it's devastating to me that us adults who are in our 20s and everything like that, just starting off really, we're going someplace to try and get help, while at the same time we're adding so much destruction inadvertently to all of our precious children, you know, and that you guys have to go through all of this. Oh, my husband is calling me right now. He doesn't know I'm doing this, so I'm not sure what to do.
just press decline or something or ignore.
Okay, yeah, that's what I did. Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna add that to the interview too. No,
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Okay. I was like, you're the boss, honey. You're the boss. So
I do like some of the random stuff though that sometimes comes on. Like, you know, that just happens. It's funny.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so yeah, when you edit it, you can figure out what you want and what you don't want.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
well, I'm so glad you guys got out and everything, and that there has been more to life than all of that. And I know it's taken all these years to finally talk about it, but at least you are, and trying to get some kind of therapy. And that's what I tell everybody, whatever way it may help. It's therapy, it's going to work out, go running, find a group of people you connect with that can better yourself, whatever it may be. I mean, I'm right there too, just trying to find some kind of something to like help better myself. I need to be working out more, but I did one time this week.
hey, that's so good. You're a beautiful, beautiful young woman. Beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Just got to find a husband now. Just kidding.
It'll happen. They're pretty foolish, but who knows what's wrong with guys these days? You know,
it's all like swiping. It's all just like swipe. You can swipe as much as you want. Like, because now it's all dating online and stuff and on apps.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to be dating these days.
Yeah, no, I don't. So, yeah, I think I'll keep my husband that I have right now. So. I'll keep him. So
yeah. Well, thank you so much for doing this, and I'm really glad that we've got to reconnect and stuff. I still remember you and Justin there when I was a lot younger, obviously, but I still remember you guys back then and stuff. And I'm just so glad we got to reconnect. I know my mom is gonna like this a lot. So
good. And make sure you tell her I said hi. She's precious. She used to be my friend.
So yeah.
So
well, yeah, we'll stay in contact and stuff. I'm hoping to maybe we can do another one with like a few of you ladies, like around that time or whatever, like 2 to 3 ladies, and just kind of talk about a couple topics and stuff and go from there. So
Sounds good. All right, girl.
well,
Love you,
thank
sweetie.
you. Huh?
I said I love you, sweetie.
You too.
My
Okay,
sister in Christ. Anyway.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna end the podcast, but stay on because I'm just gonna end the recording, not the meeting.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to this episode. I hope you got some kind of encouragement. And if you would like to email, the email is cultsandovercoming@gmail.com. I am still looking for people to be on and tell their stories. So yes, thank you so much. Have a good evening. Bye. Wait, no, just kidding. That's not it. Recording.